Um, yeah, haven't really thought about it. I mean, I think learning to win on the road is kind of a process. Um, we got really good winning on the road at Seton Hall just because we continually had freshmen that had played and sophomores and juniors and seniors. I think it's a learned how to battle crowds, how to battle refs, how to battle um, everything. To be honest with you, so I think it's I think this team is taking good steps and giving ourselves chances to win on the road. I just don't think we haven't capitalized on it.
Is there any way to expedite the process? I don't know, just time when you're trying to achieve that?
Um, I don't know. I think experience is really the most important thing. And again, I think we've gotten better on the road. I think it's up to 88% of all games in the Big Ten are won at home. Something like that, something crazy stat like that. So it's a conference that's really difficult to win on because I think unlike other conferences, Nebraska was 5-9 and they had 15,000 people and sold out and they were there an hour and a half before the game. I mean, that was an unbelievable crowd, probably as good a crowd as we've seen besides Purdue. So I just think that's what makes this conference very unique. Probably what makes it the best basketball conference, and probably why it makes it so hard to win on the road.
Coach, obviously the rotation looked a little bit different against Nebraska. Was that just adjusting to that opponent, or is anything going to change here?
Nope, same as always.
And how different does Minnesota look? Obviously, being at the bottom of the Big Ten, but now that Garcia is back.
No, I mean I think what Dawson brings them is all of a sudden they're very long and athletic on the front line now. Um, battles long and physical. Garcia's physical. Um, you know, Payne he's a heck of a young player for a center. He really physical. So I think they went from being kind of they were undersized and small the first time we played them now to being a very physical. I've been impressed with the way they've played defensively since Garcia's been back.
What have you kind of seen from him since you got him here now almost a year ago? Just how he's developed into a big piece of the rotation.
I think Ian's, he's worked really hard to kind of understand our system and feel comfortable in it. Um, I feel, especially with Tominga going out, as hard as he is to guard. Um, really our best guy to guard him was probably Jameer, but I can't put Jameer on him, chase him around all those screens, and then expect Jameer to run the offense. So it was just a better matchup with Ian on Tominga. I thought he did a pretty good job for most of the game on him. He hit that 1-3 in overtime, but that was actually, he hit it from the logo. But I think Ian's worked really hard to kind of understand what we need from him, and I think he's still got a lot of room to improve, which is good.
Coach, what does it mean to have a healthy Patrick in your lineup that seems to take advantage of his minutes almost better than anybody out there?
Yeah, I think Pat's. Again, I think what Pat gives us is the ability to play small at times when we need to play small. And it gives us a chance to play a little bit bigger when he plays with Juju. He's just, and he also gives us a veteran presence out there that's he's played a lot of games. He knows what he's doing. He's a very smart player. He's a smart young man. Um, just gives us a lot of flexibility especially on the defensive end.
How unique is that skill set to be able to do what he does in short bursts like that and take advantage of it?
Yeah, I think what most people don't understand is when he stays out there, like he usually goes in for Dante to start, and then Dante comes in and gets Jew. So he goes from playing the backup four, then he goes up to playing the five, and never coming out. So he transitions from playing two totally different positions, and even offensively it's hard, but defensively, he has to switch totally what he's doing on the defensive end. I think it just shows you what a smart player he is to be able to transition from one possession to the next. And it's also at times why he he looks a little passive because there's times I think he does get a little stuck about where he's supposed to be on the floor with who he's with.
Coach, obviously, Richmond wants to win a game, but as the season comes down to the true grind, get ready for the tournament, as a coach, do you look for spots, because you can't do it in a game, do you look for spots during practice or every Monday practice to lessen the physical toll on the guys and what they're doing?
Yeah, I mean, we're pretty much, we'll probably watch film for an hour and be on the court for 30 minutes this time of year. And then we'll do a lot of individual work, shooting, free throw shooting. We'll do a lot of dummy offense, but from Jameer, Dante, Jew, Don, and Hawk, there's not much more you can do with them. There's not much more I can change or practice and say, we're going to change, we're going to put new stuff in. It's just really hard this time of year to do all that stuff. So it's more about just keeping them as sharp as possible, keeping them as rested as possible. But yeah, I mean, I think we have 2 weeks left in the season. I mean, it's all about now just making sure they're as fresh as possible.
And with Juju, how much bigger is he playing now than most of the beginning of the season?
Yeah, I mean, what do you have? Yeah, like 16 and 16, and it was like the quietest 16 and 16 possible. I said it after the Purdue game. I mean, when you talk about, and again, he's really not a center. He's more of a power forward. But if you look at the bigs in this league, he's in the upper half, and I think he deserves to be talked that way.
Sorry for the big picture type thing, but talking about after Purdue, he's called a good number of timeouts this year that seem really good. How do you get a sense of when to do it when the other team's kind of making a push? And like, just how do you, I know you probably just been doing this a long time, but how do you personally kind of figure it out?
So 90% of all communication is nonverbal. I'm pretty good at reading body language, and I usually do it not on game flow, but on what my kid's body language is like. And that's usually when I call timeouts. There's times when I won't call. I call timeout at the end of the game, and I never have called timeouts at the end of games. But it just looked like this group they looked like they were a little shook and just needed a little confidence. So where most of my teams, I would not have called timeout at the end of regulation. But that's I usually just kind of get a feel for them, and usually they just need most times in those situations, they just need like a quick 20-second just to recompose, and that's most players. It's just their body language. I mean, sometimes it's crowds. I mean, on the road, it's the crowd. But most of the time it's just kind of body language. Like you can look at a kid and just tell them when they need to either get out of the game, or your unit needs a little love, your unit needs a little pick me up, or the unit needs to get yelled at. I think it's part of coaching is really being able to read your players' body language, because they can tell you all the BS that they want to tell you, but their body language can't BS you.
Is there a balance that I think the Purdue one was like 16-30 or so, like in terms of not waiting?
Yeah.
Like, because it seems like it could be dangerous to wait and then it doesn't come until there's.
So
Sorry, did it?
no, I mean no. So I think the Purdue game I thought was one of the best ref games I'd been in a long time, because I thought the refs just let these kids really play. The reason I call it there was the tendency sometimes is when refs are letting guys play is that you don't get a foul call for a while. And so now you're praying that the ball goes out of bounds or something for the under. And I hate wasting the timeouts, but like at that point we needed a timeout, So sometimes, like I actually see coaches doing it more, which I think is smart. Like I'll have a guy that doesn't get in foul trouble, foul a guy. It does come back and haunt you a little bit at times because of the bonus, but sometimes I don't think, think I don't know the last time we had a guy foul out. I think it was Juju. You know, if you have a guy that doesn't commit a lot of fouls and get a lot of fouls, you know, it's the old just go grab the guy and do it. But I think a lot of my timeouts are just how my team's looking and how they're responding to runs, or for that most part.
We've held opponents to the second longest average possession length in the country this season. Is that something that you think is more up to opponents' offense, or is that kind of a message that is more intentional?
Yeah, it's not a stat I'm happy about, to be honest with you. I do think that's actually hurt us on the road a little bit, because we've had to play really, really long possessions on the road. But I think it's also, you know, we're making teams work to get shots, which is not a bad thing. I on the road, if you go road and home, on the road, it's like 4 seconds longer, which I know doesn't seem like a whole lot, but that's a lot. So it's kind of, we've played a little bit quicker defensively at home than we if you can play quicker defensively. I'm sure someone has those analytics. I don't, but it's worn us a little bit on the road.
I've done a bunch of games with coaches this year, and the conversation always comes around to game day, and they say it's just hell. Game day's hell. What's it like for you? Just the waiting, getting early, whatever.
I think it all depends on the only time I don't like game day is 9 p.m. games. That's about it. I mean, but like I think tomorrow's 7, so it's like normal. I don't know. I like game days. It's better than non-game days. I mean, that's what it's what you practice and play for. I don't know why it would be hell. It's kind of like,
The stress level is, you practice, whatever, but once they wake up, they just waiting for that hit.
No, I keep myself. I have a very long process that I do my game card, my after timeouts, my special situations. It takes me like a good. After I do my emails and I look at Twitter in the morning, have my coffee. It takes me like a good 3.5 hours, and to get ready for walkthrough. So I stay pretty busy. Like I don't have much idle time on game day. Maybe that helps. And then after walkthrough, I work out for an hour and a half, and so by the time. It's like games here. It's just 9 p.m. games are tough because then there's a lot of idle time just because it's so. I just wake up so early that 9 p.m.s are tough. But for this time, it's not bad. I actually enjoy it.
I was curious, this point in the season, where you think Jameer has grown the most as a point guard. We talked about him, more of a point guard rather than a combo guard.
I just think his leadership on the court has been phenomenal. I think he's grown a really good voice in timeouts, in huddles. Halftime, he's good. I just think he was very, very quiet throughout December, and I think he's realized even if he doesn't play great, even if he's not playing the way he's played, he still has a responsibility of being a leader, and I think he's done a great job of that. Thank you, everybody.